This is a crazy stat. 76% of millennials are saying that they regret buying their home in the first place. So now they're scrambling to try and sell and get out as fast as they can. What the hell happened? Now, I've been a mortgage lender for 20 years, and I talk to buyers and sellers every single week. When the pandemic hit, people were jumping into the market. The rates were low, prices were skyrocketing. Being able to work remotely made it very attractive to just move and find a home that just kind of fit your lifestyle because people's lifestyles were changing. But a few years later, I feel like reality is kicking in for people and they're second guessing that decision. Inflation, lifestyle changes, employment changes, like things happen, and I think the economy and the market is catching people off guard right now. So in this video, I'm gonna break down why people regret buying, what they're doing now, and how you can avoid making that same mistake. You'll understand why millennials are selling the home they bought a few years ago, the biggest regrets first-time home sellers are reporting, what today's market is teaching us about buying for this moment versus planning for forever, and how to avoid buyer's remorse if you're thinking about buying your own home in 2025. So the pandemic created a buying frenzy and a lot of FOMO kicked in. Hell, I even bought a house in 2021. But here's what's crazy. 79% of people that are selling their home right now, so active sellers in the market, are saying that they regret the home they bought. And 91% of those people are saying that due to those regrets, that's the exact reason they're selling their home today. And this isn't just about money. It's about lifestyle shifts, stress, and just not feeling aligned. And that same type of urgency and gut feeling that pushed people to buy due to FOMO is now causing those same folks to sell. So what exactly are those regrets, and how did so many smart buyers end up feeling trapped? Let's break these regrets down by generation. Let's start with millennials. 37% of millennials underestimated the cost of repairs and home maintenance. 31% of millennials didn't factor in things like inflation or rising interest rates. And 23% say that the shift away from remote work makes their new location impractical. Now here's how Gen Z is feeling. 35% of Gen Z simply feel like they bought too soon in their life. And 40% of Gen Z just didn't think through their long-term goals, like where do they want to be in the next 5, 7, 10 years? That purchase they made did not align with those goals. And recently, one of the top realtors at Keller Williams was interviewed in an article about this topic. And what he said was, people are maxing out their budgets just to get into the home and buy the home, leaving them no cushion financially to actually own, operate, and maintain that home. There's a big difference. Remember, homeownership isn't just your mortgage and closing costs. It's repairs, ongoing maintenance, property taxes, insurance. There's a lot. And with all that FOMO during the pandemic, many buyers were emotionally ready, but financially, they were unprepared. I think there's just a bigger mindset shift around what it actually means to own a home in the current day and age. Here's a couple interesting stats. 81% of first-time sellers are selling the same exact home that they thought they'd own forever, or at least for the next 10 years. 68% of those sellers now believe that there is no forever home because life changes. There's just a home that makes sense right now. And when it comes to millennials and Gen Z, 40% of that demographic view homeownership as a stepping stone from a financial investment standpoint, but not necessarily a long-term commitment anymore. I think the pandemic really impacted how people feel around the location, the space they have, and really the meaning behind permanence. Job mobility, lifestyle flexibility, affordability have all redefined what the word home now means. And now with all these people getting into the market and selling their homes, what are they going to do after? Are they buying again? Are they renting? Are they just taking a break? Here's what the data says. 64% of first-time home sellers are not buying right away. Maybe down the road, but not right away. Many plan on renting, maybe moving in with family, and really just waiting for better market conditions, more affordability. Gen Z and millennials are more likely to wait it out, regroup, and just continue saving until the economic conditions are better. Boomers are the most uncertain. Over 20% have no idea what they're going to do. They're just kind of in a wait-and-see mode based on the economics of things. And here's why. Home prices are still really high, interest rates are still really high, and people have lost confidence in the market. They don't want to get locked into a financial commitment that they can sustain over the next 5, 7, or 10 years. So there's this trend word that's called gap selling that's floating around right now. It's where you sell your home now, you pause for a little bit, maybe a few years, and then you get back into the market later, hence the gap. People are prioritizing convenience and flexibility in lieu of all the benefits homeownership brings, like long-term equity, tax advantages, and so forth. But here's the deal. Selling a home, especially your first one, is not as easy as it seems, emotionally or financially. At some point, everyone's a first-time home buyer. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of information and education you need. And then eventually people become a first-time home seller. Same thing. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of information and education. And logistically, it poses some challenges. Specifically, over 75% of first-time home sellers were totally unprepared and caught off guard with the process. And over 60% of sellers were surprised and actually kind of shocked by the effort that goes into selling, the staging, the showings, the repairs. It's a lot of energy. And almost 40% were just caught off guard with how emotionally draining it can be. There's a lot of just emotion that goes into packing and wondering if someone's going to make an offer and negotiating and having deals fall through. It's a lot. You got your life, you got work. I mean, it's a lot to juggle. As a result, people's priorities are now shifting. 65% of home sellers said they would accept 20% less than their listing price just to be done with the process. That's crazy. On a $420,000 home, that's over 80% discount for the potential buyer just to take the property off their hands so they can be done with the stress. So what can you take away from all this if you're thinking about buying a home in 2025? Well, number one, don't just rush in because the market feels hot. Don't let emotion override your logic. FOMO. No, not FOMO. No. And number two, you got to budget for home ownership post-closing, not just the purchase acquisition, which is your down payment and your closing costs. I'm talking maintenance, repairs, taxes, insurance. You have to budget annually for owning a home. And number three, you got to think 5 years down the road. What is your life going to look like from a stability standpoint, from an employment standpoint? How are you going to feel 3, 5, 7 years from now in this home? Will it suit your needs? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you got to think about that. Your emotions shouldn't drive your decisions. Fear, urgency, and pressure, put those down. Think with logic. Timeline, budget, finances. So here's a few smart moves you can make if you're in the market today. Don't max out your buying power. Leave yourself a cushion within your budget. You never want to max out. Definitely get a home inspection. People were skipping home inspections in 2021, and a year or two goes by and they got crazy repairs they got to deal with, all because of the FOMO of wanting to get into the market. Never skip your inspection. Lately, it feels like remote work can change in an instant. So if you think you can move away from your office and not have to come in every day, just make sure you get that in writing, because a lot of people are getting called back into the office. Major inconvenience with commute right now. And you always want to just think in terms of flexibility, not permanency. These homes right now, they may not be your forever home. So look, if you bought during the pandemic and you're selling now, more likely than not, you've made a couple bucks, and there's no shame in that. Our lives change and we have to ebb and flow. The best move right now might be cutting your losses, taking some profit off the table, and lowering your monthly overhead to get your budget dialed in again. So if you're thinking about buying soon, learn from this. Learn from other people's mistakes and let this be a blueprint for you. It's like bumpers on the bowling lane. I've been helping home buyers make smart decisions for over 20 years. If you need some guidance and you want to put a budget strategy in place, send me a message. I'll help you think it through.